Hey, mediocre gamer fam. It's I, Anthony, my best friend in the world, AJ, over there. We're talking about video game stuff, and not at all just realizing that we had been recording for, I don't know, probably a good 60 seconds. AJ, how was AJ today?
AJ's doing pretty good. It's Monday, as always, so it's, the beginning of the week, which isn't, for us regular salary workers, isn't necessarily a fun day of the week. But can't complain. I got some business stuff in the background taken care of today, which means that inadvertently it's a good day. How's your day, Anthony?
It's cool. It's cool. Another day, another dollar. Nothing too crazy happened today. I went to work. This is a tiny side story, and it's gonna tie back into our main topic because it always does. Every time, every single time. So the place I work, they're building a new store right next to it. Right, working like a open mall, whatever. Building a store. They have that big wood panel up.
Okay.
And apparently that wood panel that like blocks off the front so you can't see what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. Apparently yesterday, it fell. Like all 10, 15, 20 feet of it kind of just kerplunked in the front of the store in the middle of mall hours, apparently. And so that was a thing that mall security had to deal with. I didn't have to deal with anything. And then apparently when I wasn't there, like somebody passed out in the store. Like there were people that like weren't speaking like great English. Like, and so like everybody was trying to be helpful, but it was just like, I do not know what you're saying. It's a whole thing. But you want to know something, AJ? You got to adapt. And today we're talking about adaptations. I told you it's going to tie back in, baby. Told you.
I loved it. That was, hey. I had the mobile games transition last week. You had our adaptation ones this week. Great job.
There we go. We are talking about video game adaptations, video games into shows, movies, really any other medium that isn't a video game. Obviously, the release of the Fallout show. We have thoughts. AJ, I didn't ask before we actually started watching it. Are you a Fallout guy?
Yeah. I like Fallout more than Elder Scrolls personally. I'm also not a big medieval person, but and I really like Bethesda for the most part. Their most recent stuff hasn't been great, but Bethesda games. So Fallout really speaks to me the most out of all of them. So yes, I am a Fallout fan. Are you?
I am. Yeah, I'm a pretty big Fallout guy. I'm gonna say it like this, and this is gonna be weird to some people who don't know what I'm talking about. I am a fan of the lore and the world and the characters and the situations that Fallout kind of brings forth. The games are just okay to me. I'm talking specifically about Fallout 3 and 4. New Vegas, we don't have to talk about it. That game is a treasure. Fallout 1 and 2, they play like the Wastelanders game. Do you know what Wastelanders is?
Yes, I never played it.
Okay, Wastelanders, the strategy game, that's made by the same team that made the original Fallout 1 and 2 games, right? And so it's really a continuation of the Fallout world in that way, and then like all the decisions still tie in the same way. It's a whole thing. The Fallout as a reality is wild.
Yeah, and they really showed that well, I think, during the show, where it was like kind of showing the reality of like these people that have accepted that any day now the world could end, like, and it like it wouldn't be even a surprise. It wouldn't be a shock. It'd be like, all right, today's the day, I guess. Like, that is their reality. And I think the show did a great job of showing in the flashback scenes of like, beforehand of showing like how people dealt with that mentality, how they planned for it, like the things they did. So I think that was a really interesting take that they don't necessarily like. Yeah, they do talk about it in the games, but not a whole lot. Not to the extent they did in the show.
No. I mean, and then it's just an interesting thing. I mean, because AJ, I don't know if you watch the regular news and not the gaming news. The world's kind of hectic right now, dog. And I feel like a lot of you and I, a lot of people who are paying attention are just kind of just like, just like pretty much.
I mean, it's definitely not as bad as it was in the show.
No,
we're not close to there, but like there definitely are themes that carry over, and there is still a general sense of, I hate to say dread, because no, I don't feel a general sense of dread every day like people did during the Cold War. Like this truly emulates the Cold War, or World War II, especially after the first bombs dropped, where it was like, like where do we go from here?
Yeah. And yes. Man, that got kind of dark. But this show is actually not dark. It actually makes the post-apocalypse seem kind of fun, sort of like how Fallout does, almost, because I don't know, the Fallout games always made it very clear that this sucks, but the show made it seem kind of fun.
I mean, it definitely does suck, but they had a lot of like classic Marvel movie comedy. Is the best way to describe it? Where like it made a lot of scenes that were fucked up, like her having to like cut the first dead body's head off that she's ever seen.
Yeah.
Into like a joke, instead of like where you easily could have had it like where she just has this like horrified blank stare of like what I have to do here when I've been sheltered my whole life like this, but instead it was like lighthearted and funny. So they made these really fucked up themes fun. And that's what the show is. It's a fun
really
show.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
It's a super fun show. Shout out to the way it starts, because literally I'm watching it with my girlfriend, friend of the show, Maya. She doesn't watch these, and if she does, she doesn't tell me. But I'm watching it with her, and the opening of the show kind of captures the pre-war idea, because there's specific in Fallout, and we're gonna have to get into the lore in just a second. But in Fallout, there is a pre-war, there is a post-war. The bombs drop, and then that's the post-war. Everything before that, it was pretty cool, actually. Everything was fine, so we thought. And yeah, no, literally, you're just panning out, you see a whole city, and you're like, oh no, a bomb drop, everybody's running, right? And as we pan and see the city, another one drops, and another one drops, and another one drops, and it's like, oh, it's a wrap. That's okay, I get it now. Like, this is bad.
Like, yeah, this is the end of the world. If we're dropping this many bombs on one city, they're all getting hit. Like, this is bad.
It's a wrap.
You know, we can go into more spoiler territory at the end of this podcast episode, because we're really not here to talk just solely about Fallout, right? Like, well, that was a great show. We're here to talk about video game adaptations as a whole, right? And so not too long before Fallout, we had another great one that I think is in contention to be just, I think it's just as quality. We had Last of Us, the show, come out.
Of course.
Probably, what, 8-9 months ago, probably, before the Fallout show?
Less than a year, yeah. So probably something like that, 7, 6, 7, somewhere, 6 to 9 months ago. Let's say the duration of a pregnancy.
Yep, yeah, exactly. Perfect. And that show is also really good. I don't know what I liked more between that or Fallout. I think I liked Fallout more because it was more fun, but I would say The Last of Us is a better written show.
Yeah, okay, yeah, 100%. Just because in Fallout, if you haven't seen it, it's very cartoony in many aspects. And yet, granted, Fallout as a series is stupendously cartoony, especially when we talk about the post-apocalypse. I remember, I think it's the second episode, our main character meets someone literally dying of thirst. And so they asked our main character, hey, you got some water for me? And our main character's like, oh yeah, you can have a sip. And it's like, oh man, that's just like an interaction you would have in the game. Like, oh, you can have a sip. And this person proceeds to drink all of our main character's water and hands it back and says, someone hands you clean water, you got to drink it, even if you're not thirsty. And it's like, that's a joke for the games. 100%.
That felt like a random, like, you're walking down the path and some NPC's like, hey, you, like, can you help me? And it's just like some stupid nothing helps you. It is only a funny interaction that in fact hurts you. It was one of those.
I mean, if it does anything to you, and I feel like the Fallout show captured that very well, but the Last of Us show captured everything about the game very well, because the Last of Us, granted, it's not a very happy time, and it only gets sadder with the second game. I'm surprised they're still making a third game. I guess we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
I got to give it to the Fallout show a bit, because they did come up with an original story versus The Last of Us is... They did their liberties for the show, which I always like when shows do that. You know, make it a little unique. There's a little bit of difference for the people that already know the story. But they didn't have a new story to create. They already had a fantastic story to follow. So I will give Fallout a little more leniency in that aspect of they went completely original story.
They did original characters with similar situations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's Fallout, and it follows a plot of like all of the games where it's like, oh, something happened in a vault. You gotta leave the vault.
Yeah, time to go do your thing. Yeah, of course. What I actually didn't like about the show, I don't know if you noticed this, but they reuse sets in such an obvious way. Like, an event would happen with Group A at this location, and then Group B would come after and figure out and assess what's going on. And then, now new Group A or same Group A has an event that happens at a new location. Okay, now Group B, whoever that is, could be the same group or not, comes in to that same location after Group A left and investigates what happened, sees what went on, and talks about it. And so, I noticed, I don't think it'll happen as much in the second season because I'd imagine they'll have a bigger budget. But I just noticed that
probably
in every episode of the show, Group A would do something, then Group B would follow. It was the entire show.
I wonder if they tried to do, oh no, here I go, making excuses for something that ain't paying my bills. I wonder if they were trying to do the Fallout Van Buren thing. I've talked about Fallout Van Buren on the show before, but basically Fallout Van Buren, you are a player character, there's an AI player character, you both have the same goal, and it's 1,000% possible for the AI player character to just beat the game and just let you pick up the pieces, or vice versa. So it could, literally there'll be things of oh yeah, so-and-so just came through here, or just things like that. So I wonder if that's something similar. Now granted, that is a lot of leeway to give to something that ain't paying my bills, but
I like the headcanon and I'm gonna use it, but we damn well know it was a lack of budget. We know what it was.
I mean, yeah, and then granted, that's not to say that Fallout is a cheap show.
No.
You can tell that there's production value there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, for sure, they probably were operating, they for sure weren't operating on a SpongeBob SquarePants budget. I'm surprised they still make those. Can we, brief segue? They make SpongeBob to this day. I was watching Nick at Night one night, and SpongeBob was playing for until midnight, from 7 p.m. to midnight. And I was like, I'm not that old. And then a commercial came on, it's like, you're not dreaming, SpongeBob's on Nick at Night. And I was like, no! And so I said all that to say that the Fallout isn't making SpongeBob money, therefore. And then, granted, this is a gamble. Huge gamble. Oh, yeah. Same with The Last of Us. I mean, less so with The Last of Us. It's already regarded as this paramount moment in video game storytelling. So that's probably an easier sell than, hey, here's a bunch of wacky idiots going through a irradiated desert.
Yeah, I mean, and look at Twisted Metal. I mean, that TV show that came out, that is a lot of wacky idiots going through this wasteland. I mean, it's a lot of the same, but it doesn't hit the same because I think Twisted Metal felt almost a little too corny, a little too cheesy.
Oh yeah, definitely leaning to the camp.
Jokes felt, like I said, more like that classic Marvel where it flowed really well into everything else. They felt organic, whereas Twisted Metal is look, we're quirky in a wasteland. It was in your face. And
yeah, no, the Fallout jokes are smart. Yes. It's very much it makes you think about why you have to laugh at that, right? Or or just characters and their situations. It does a thing that I'm sure Rick and Morty does, and I'm sure a bunch of other shows do it, where it's we're gonna just put a bunch of characters in the world, and we could really have a whole episode about each individual character, but we're just gonna have a brief moment with them, move on to the next thing for the plot. And yeah, every character feels like they could have their own episode if they just desired.
Yep. The only thing I'll say about the characters really, Ghost, or the Ghoul, obviously, really cool character. I think everyone liked him. Lucy's neat. I mean, she's a perfectly serviceable main character. Nothing blew my socks off. She's fine.
I think, another quick side note for Lucy, just in favor of people that don't pay my bills, AJ. She is a very, very good kind of foil or something to lead the new people who maybe aren't familiar with the lore and just like, hey,
Yeah.
what's this? How does that work? Right. So I feel like that's kind of why she was more or less the main character.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah, she didn't blow my socks off either.
I do love the clueless vault, like vault dweller personality she has, where she's like just so trusting of people right away and like all that. Like she has like the golden rule and stuff like that, like where she's like still following vault rules and people are like, what the fuck? Like, I'm just gonna
That's
kill
all
you
she's
for
known.
it. Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, again, like has that humor that ties in really, really well. But of the three main characters, Maximus, I truly didn't care for. Like, I thought his story was super, super whatever. Like, you were supposed to like him. You know, he's that wannabe hero, but, like, off rip, he does everything wrong and gets his knight killed without getting into too much spoilers. He, like, doesn't do a single thing right. Like, everything wrong, and then acts like the righteous one. And I was like, no, you just killed that man, essentially. Just kind of watched him die as you could have helped. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's
and then,
yeah.
like,
so okay,
and then he immediately. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but like, I just want to quick.
Oh, you're good.
And then he immediately, as soon as he gets his armor, turns corrupt, like, right away, and then proceeds to lie throughout the rest of the show to everyone.
Yeah, yeah. But, and here's another thing, right? Because, again, Fallout is so many things to so many people. Fallout is the vault dweller leaving the vault and just trying to make the wasteland a better place. Sometimes through synths, sometimes just through shooting people. Or you're just trying to be chaotic. You're just trying to be a cowboy. Just and you know, you got all the witty one-liners. But then I think Maximus is the Fallout player that's just like, I'ma just see what happens. It's just like, I'ma just see. It's just like, you're telling me if I say go in this dead tree and look for an apple, you're gonna look for it? No, he's not. He's gonna see the tree is dead. Oh my gosh, he's on top of the tree looking for an apple? Okay. It's just like, I don't see any apples, my lord. It was like, keep looking. I want an apple.
I'll give it that. And like the dude they had, the cadet dude that they had join him, fantastic. I love the dynamic they had. I thought that was great. I'm excited to see more of him. And you know, the 100%. Twist that came with him towards the end. Again, we could talk more about that towards the end. Was, I thought, really cool. He's definitely going to be a returning character.
Of course.
But yes, and then you know, the vault dweller story I think was the best out of all of it. The politics that are going on within the vault are fantastic. So all those actors are great too. You know, they're making the jokes because there's only like fucking 30 of them, so they're making the jokes like, oh, you can only go so far with your cousin. You know, like gotta marry someone.
Oh my gosh, all of those were funny.
Oh my gosh, I was dying.
There's more to life than just cousin stuff.
Yeah. It's because like the thing about it, though, there's like 30 of you in this vault, like. That everyone you're related to in some way after years and years, so like for the most part. So like, yeah, that's probably a very real thing in like that kind of society.
I mean, like, because the events of the show actually take place 200 years after the bombs drop. Yeah. And again, like you said, there's like maybe 50 people. Like there are bigger vaults, obviously, but. I like that it leans into the fact of like the vaults were never supposed to work, like ever. Yeah. The fact that they work is a miracle.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And that whole vault thing we'll get into. I think that's really interesting. Before we get to that spoiler area though, I do want to highlight some more video game shows, and we still haven't even touched on movies yet. Because video game, especially within recent media, is starting to infect all forms of media, and it's starting to be done well finally, right? Because for years and years and years, we've had video games in movies and TV shows, and they've almost always been subpar, like jokes. No one, not even the fans, like them. Like no one likes them, right? But
I got one. Okay. I don't know if you've heard this through the grapevine. I don't think you have because you didn't lead with this. It pertains to the Sonic movie coming out. It's supposed to be later this year. I don't know. It might be next year. Moral to the story is they announced who Shadow. Well, I don't think they announced it officially, but rumor has it. Keanu Reeves is Shadow. How do we feel? spiritually.
Oh, I think that's a great casting. I'm so excited. I like that more than Hayden Christensen rumor that we had. I think Keanu Reeves will fucking kill it as Shadow.
I mean, he kills everything. Yeah, for sure. So yes, you have John Wick, you have Neo from The Matrix playing a video game, Hedgehog, brothers and sisters. We did it.
We did
it, folks. We got Kevin Hart playing Roland. We got Keanu Reeves playing Shadow the Hedgehog. Who's next? Samuel Jackson as Silver. Why not? Why not? Just pull the pin out the grenade.
Sure.
My favorite line is in Sonic 06 when Silver like is just like enough and he catches everything and throws it. It's just Samuel Jackson just like enough, motherfucker. It's That's good.
That is good. That is good. All right, you know what? I wasn't on board at first, but with that, you got me on board. Samuel Jackson for Silver the Hedgehog. It's so good. It's so good. But things that we do have released that are concrete in here, the Cyberpunk Edge Runner show was a smash hit. I know that's not live action, but it's so good for anyone, even if you haven't played the games. Couldn't recommend that show enough. It is, I think, 10, maybe 8 episodes. I think it's 10 though.
I think it's 10. I think Netflix gave it 10.
And it's a one and done season unless they did some new story. And
I was gonna say, I think it's just anthologize it.
Yeah. But it's so good. Such a complete story. Can't recommend that enough as a video game show. The Witcher was looking good for a while. I know this latest season wasn't good. I don't watch it, but I know other people that do are like absolutely love it.
It's good. The first 2 seasons are very good. Also, another kind of important thing, Henry Cavill kind of spearheaded a lot of things that were great about the show, which is why the 3rd season isn't as great as the other 2. And when he left, because they didn't want to stick to certain elements of the source material, which he knows so much. He's such a dork, dude.
No, dude, did you see the interview where, and everyone's seen it, so I'm sure you have, but where they're like, so if you're a gamer, like, or Xbox or PlayStation, and he said PC, and everyone lost their mind.
No, literally, I need you to understand. Legend has it, Henry Cavill missed the call to play Superman because he was playing World of Warcraft, and he had to call the number back, go like, what do you want? Like, literally, okay, capital G gamer, he left, and season 3 wasn't great. I think they're getting their footing back with the 4th one. Doesn't matter. What are some other ones?
Sonic Prime came out recently.
Mm-hmm.
That was received decently well. Of course, it's more geared towards children, but received decently well. Sonic X was an anime back in the day. Pokemon's had.
I remember.
Sonic X was a banger as a kid. Pokemon has had a litany of shows and movies. I'm not even gonna start getting into that list. There's just.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite rendition of? It could be just a series, like a season. It could be a movie.
The best one is Mewtwo Strikes Back, I believe is what it's called.
Okay.
I think that's the first one they had Mewtwo in it. That one was a banger.
Yeah, the one with and then that one starts off it starts off genuinely kind of scary.
Yeah,
like because you don't know what's going on. You're in this lab. They're just talking to this thing. It's a Pokemon that can talk without moving its mouth. It's so strange.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely like had Darth Vader vibes for Mewtwo, I think.
Oh yeah. But then when he like powers up and he's just like, you know what? I'm stronger than all of you.
Yeah,
just kills everybody.
None of y'all stop me. Yeah. The last show I really, really care to bring attention to is the Halo show. That one is
that actually good?
Season 1 was horrible. I absolutely trash.
Okay.
Season 2 has picked up the pieces as much as it can.
I was just going to say, I didn't watch the Halo shows. I need you to understand how bad season 1 is for those of us who didn't watch it like me.
Yeah.
Someone came up to me because they know I'm a gamer. They know I love games. And they're just like, hey, is the Halo show that bad? And I was like, I didn't watch it. I don't know. I just heard bad things. It was just like, cause I'm not a gamer, but I really like it. And I'm like, oh, see, I'm like, oh, see, and it's just like, you should watch it, have an opinion. I'm like, no, I shouldn't. I'm gonna get mad. Like,
you saying I'm not a gamer is like screams all the problems that I'm gonna have.
It's just like, oh, okay, I see why you're confused about criticism.
Yeah, because you don't, because I'm sure. Because I haven't watched it too much either. Like I watched like the first episode and I was like, yeah, I'm over this. And then I saw the hate online. And I was like, yep, I was right to be over this. It
is sad because the Halo, like on paper, it's so
it
perfect.
Should work.
The Halo
work so
TV
well.
show, it's everything that you want ever.
Yeah. And the fact that it doesn't work. Honestly, the fact that Destiny doesn't work for a TV show, I think Destiny could work almost better, just because with that you could have a bit of a different storyline by having just an aimless Guardian. You don't have Master Chief and trying to work in his story. You could just have...
Right. Well, listen, talking about Master Chief, what if for season 3, okay? And walk with me for a second.
I'm walking.
Season 3, Halo. ODST, we follow a random group of orbital drop shock troopers, right, for the 3rd season of Halo, just like Halo 3, ODST, and they go on a weird little mini adventure through like an abandoned city, just like the game, but it's different characters from the game because nobody remembers. Nobody's gonna remember Halo 3 ODST. I'm sorry, it's just the fact. And that's the 3rd season. Don't give me more Master Chief. Give me Master Chief for season 4, if you even get that. Give me Halo 3 ODST. Just give me a bunch of just weird commando nerds in like a bad situation and just like, we gotta get out.
I think that actually worked really great. I don't, that's not gonna happen because Master Chief they have to show Master Chief in every episode.
Master Chief can be there, but like the thing that made the orbital drop ODST cool was that it wasn't Master Chief. It was just a bunch of assholes with suits. It was
just doing their best. Yeah.
Like they're just doing their best. Master Chief is like, I'm Master Chief, I'm gonna do it every time. But literally, the whole crew is just like, dog, how are we finna get off this planet?
Like, we're fucked.
That's the whole game. It's just like, bro, if we can't get from point A to point B, we die.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, so back to shows. Well, actually, adaptations.
Oh.
I'm gonna move on to movies because I think we've talked through most of the shows. At least I cared to talk about.
You don't want to talk about Clinton High, the show?
Nope. And of course, there's plenty of shows that we have not talked about. I mean, there's animes for so many video games. There's like, cartoons. There's all that. We don't have time to talk about all of them.
Yeah.
But
give us a list of stuff that we missed, and we might probably end up talking about them.
Might come back. Some notable movie. Let's start off with some big hitters, right? For movies that actually were successful. The Mario Bros movie, absolute phenomenal banger. I watched that in theaters. So good.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I keep hearing good things. I haven't seen the Mario Brothers movie. My girlfriend's seen it twice. I'm only a little mad about it.
You're missing out a bit.
Yeah.
You're missing out a lot.
That's what she keeps telling me. She's like, I want to watch it with you, and then she watched it like 2 times without me. So I mean,
that's your own.
I'm
hearing a lot of excuses from this end.
Oh, thank you, AJ. Wow. Okay. Don't get on my side.
Nope. I'm not here to enable. I'm here to help.
Wow. Thank you, AJ. Thank you for helping me by giving Maya points. Anyway, what's next?
Detective Pikachu, another fantastic, better than it should have been movie, I'd say.
Way better. Yeah. Can we talk about the Dungeons and Dragons movie? That's technically a video game movie.
It's a game movie, but sure, yeah. I have no problem talking about it.
Okay. Dungeons and Dragons. The movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah, again, another movie that's better than it should have been. It's what the Warcraft movie should have been.
Oh my gosh. Why'd you bring that movie up? Because here's the problem with the Warcraft movie. It's not a bad movie.
No.
However, I don't think the people were ready for it. And also, the CGI was kind of trash.
Yep.
You gotta call a spade a spade. CGI kind of sucked, but it's not a bad movie. It's actually
No.
very fun to watch if you can turn your brain off to the CGI.
Yeah. Another really successful movie, Tron. That was huge when that came out.
Are we talking about Tron like from the 80s Tron, or are we talking about Tron
Well,
Legacy?
both were popular. I mean,
Yeah.
the '80s one is better. Obviously not from a visual standpoint. There's only so much you could do with '80s CGI.
Like milk.
Yeah, there's only so much you could do. I understand that. If you want like some visuals, the new one I already forgot the name. You just said it.
Tron Legacy, starring Hayden Christensen, our favorite.
Tron Legacy is a gorgeous movie though. Like visually, it's stunning.
It's so cool to look at.
It's stunning. The soundtrack, fantastic, all done by Daft Punk. I mean, like it is. It has all the pieces there. The writing is just. It's not even like bad. It's just not good.
Clunky.
It's just not good. Yeah. So
it's real clunky. It's real like this piece, that piece.
Yep. And so those, even still, Tron Legacy was still a like good video game movie for the time, especially. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
I mean,
and it spawned bad video games from it. It was so good.
It did. It spawned horrible ones that had nothing to do with the original game. It had everything to do with the movie, and they were just one of those shitty movie adaptation games that are like worth like $2 now.
Yeah.
There's the original Lara Croft Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie. Those were pretty good.
Yes.
Those weren't like
they're not bad. I mean,
right.
I was gonna say they're at least as good as the original Tomb Raider games.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
and
they're good.
The original Tomb Raider games, looking back, aren't great, but Lara Croft, dog.
But Lara Croft, of course, the first two Sonic movies were better than they had any right to be. I have my complaints and reservations, but they are still better than any right they ever had to be.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing the first one in theaters and just going like, you know something? I don't hate this.
Yeah.
I was ready to hate this.
As a Sonic fan, I was going in ready to be like, this is going to be horrible. I'm prepared for it. I'm ready for it. This is going to suck. And I walked out like...
It's actually not bad.
Yeah. I was sad I wasn't able to go see the Sonic 2 movie in theaters because I don't have any big Sonic fans that are friends. And I was not about to go to a children's movie by myself at a theater. So...
AJ, no. So check it out. As someone who saw Kubo and the Two Strings in the theater by himself, listen, what you got to do is you got to time it. So, okay, I'm going to just give you the whole play. No, seriously, you got to time it. So what I used to do, right? I used to go to movies at like the middle of the day, like 1 p.m. Like random in the middle of the day when kids aren't going to be there. If it's a weekday, great. If it's like a weekend, you go first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Don't go in the middle of the day. That's when everybody goes out with their families. It's disgusting. But yeah, you can, AJ, it's okay to watch children's movies by yourself. It's just don't be weird about it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, or like there's been like some Pixar movies where I'm like, I kind of want to go see this in the theaters, but I'm not gonna go to this movie by myself.
Damn, I don't know. Go on Bumble and just be like, I don't movie like
movie.
I don't know what you say to get dates. I don't know what anyone says to get dates anymore. I've been out there.
That's it. That is it. You just text them and you go movie, and it's just whether they say yes or no. It's a 50-50.
And then you send a question mark as a separate text.
Yeah. You send movie, then wait like an hour after they don't respond, and then you send the desperate question mark.
And then maybe they respond. Let us know in the comments if our dating advice has gotten you anything. Whether it's gotten you a baby koala, whether it's gotten you a date, whether it's gotten you a car. I don't know. I don't know what this advice gets people.
Some good attempts at movie adaptations that didn't turn out well. Uncharted. I think that was a good attempt. The casting was bad, but
Are you telling me you don't buy Tom Holland as Nathan Drake?
Honestly, I don't have a huge problem with it. I think Tom was a little young, looks a little young for the role.
Okay.
But what really bothered me is they couldn't stick to whether it was young or old, because then Sully now is like way older when they're supposed to be like, yeah, of course Sully is older. but he's not like way older. Like, not like a dad and a son older.
I thought the age gap was pretty hefty.
I didn't think
thought
it was
so.
that bad.
I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know either of their canon ages, but I do know for a fact. I do know for a fact that when Drake first met Sully, Drake was in his 20s and Sully was like 50, pushing 50.
Still okay, but like then maybe it is just Tom looking as young as he is. Maybe that is it.
Yeah, he looks like a little cute baby.
He Tom is too young for the role, but he did as good as he could have done. Like acting wise, I have no problem with how he did it. I think he did it just fine.
Do you hate Mark Wahlberg as Sully?
I think Mark could have done better. I think Mark could have done better. It's not horrible. It's not bad, but I think he could have done better.
Like, listen, and then granted, Mark Wahlberg would have been a perfect Nathan Drake back in the early 2000s.
Yep.
Would have been perfect. But instead he was Max Payne. I don't want to talk about it, but it's a fact. Oh, Max Payne, why is that not on the list?
It is. I got it right here, right below Hitman. We got Mario Bros,
AJ,
Hitman, Max Payne.
AJ, okay.
I can't help that you don't got eyes.
I'll admit this. No, I'll admit this on the podcast. I skimmed it. I didn't do a deep dive on all of them. And so I was like, I don't see Max Payne, but that's because I'm blind. Yes. That Max Payne was actually bad.
Yep. So was Hitman. Hitman was also bad.
That's a hot take.
Dude, that movie could have been so good. A Hitman movie has great promise to be good. That could be so sick.
Okay, but it was like really cool to look at. Like, okay, are you telling me? Like the visuals of it were really cool, and also, granted, the B story became the A story in the dumbest way. I'll give you that for free. But
okay, if you're gonna praise off visuals, then why didn't you praise Tron?
Okay, so here's the problem with Tron. The story's so bad because with Hitman it gets a pass because Hitman kind of doesn't have a story. It wasn't until the last like 2-3 games that we really got the story and the world of Hitman. It basically became John Wick. So when that come out, like 06? In 2006, I could understand when like all you have is Hitman blood money to go off of, and you know that you're Agent 47. So it's like, okay, there's probably other agents, and so we got that, and it's like, I don't know, maybe he falls in love, probably, sure, why not? And Russia, yep, that's a movie.
Yeah. That's bad writing too. I don't know. It's bad writing all around. Assassin's Creed also has bad writing.
Assassin's Creed does. Shout out to Michael Fassbender tried. And that is the best thing I can say about that movie because he tried.
I will give him giving the basic lore behind the Animus and Assassins and Templars is all like really important to the story. Like to understand the general story, you have to understand that. And explaining all of that, you need at least 30 minutes of a movie to do.
At least, and there are ways to do it to make it like not boring. But yes,
so I will give them that's hard to do, to explain all of that's going on. You have to explain that. Now they didn't do a good job of explaining it quickly, but you have to explain it kind of off the rip to be able to understand what's going on throughout the whole movie.
But you gotta think, you could literally just do the Assassin's Creed 2 thing where you basically have the tutorial, the introductory, whatever, where you play as whoever or you're following whomever, and then you just wake up out the Animus like, all right, I'm out the Animus now, that was me, and now I'm me, and then, I don't know, a prison break, and a pretty woman beats a guy up with a stick. Like in Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah, no, it definitely could have been done better. I won't disagree with that. The writing's still not great, but I just am willing to give him some leniency because that's not easy to do. Because there's some video game adaptations where you don't have to explain quite as much. Like Max Payne, you don't have to explain quite as much. You're kind of at the end of the world. Same thing, kind of with Fallout. Same thing where it's like, okay, bombs drop. That's all you needed, and we're now 200 years later.
Literally,
that's all you needed.
Everything else we figured out.
Yeah, so I'll give them. There's more to know there. But another one that just has bad adaptation after bad adaptation is Mortal Kombat.
Why do you hate I don't hate the latest movie.
I don't hate it either. Actually, I watched it and I was like, this isn't bad, but it wasn't. When all you have to say about a movie is this isn't bad, that doesn't make it a good movie though.
No. And I will say, the addition of a new character, Cole, and it has nothing to do with Sub-Zero and like the lore of how like there are like multiple Sub-Zeros, whatever. That was kind of stupid, but, and I will say, but everything else was actually pretty on mark,
Yeah.
right? And now we know we're getting the second one, and so like, yeah, the new character is objectively like the only thing I hate about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I get that. I thought the story outside of the new character was bland. It wasn't bad, but again, it wasn't good. It was.
Yeah, and I think this was kind of them testing the waters to see like, okay, are people really gonna go for like the Earth realm, End realm, Nether realm, like conspiracy theory that we got going on, and how this one tournament decides what does what with who and there, and blah blah blah. So I could follow them being like, you know what, let's just Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raiden, all that doesn't exactly matter.
The characters everyone likes. Yeah.
Yeah, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, make them really cool. Go.
Yeah. And essentially a blockbuster action film. They were going for, and it came out. They're going for a generic action blockbuster film, and that is what they made.
Yes, but I have a feeling that in the next one, because in the next one it's confirmed we're getting Johnny Cage, and rumor has it Carl Urban is going to be Johnny Cage.
That would be fucking sick. I love Carl Urban.
Yeah, that's the rumor. And yeah, I think that's when we're going to get to like the actual lore, because the lore of Mortal Kombat is almost like as interesting as any game.
It's crazy. It's crazy. There's so much.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But yes. What else we got? This is fun.
I mean, we've got to like what I mainly wanted to talk about. I mean, I'm ready if you are to talk about, some Fallout spoilers. If you are, if there's anything else you want to talk about, let's go for it while we're here.
Well, a couple things, just because we are getting a little close on time, but there is one thing I do want to talk about. The fact that Fallout 4 sales have spiked because of the success of the Fallout show, and the meme is that they're buying the wrong Fallout. Ooh, talk to me, because I have thoughts and opinions.
I disagree with that.
Let's go.
And there are a lot of people also buying 76. That definitely is not the right one. No. And
let's keep going.
And Fallout, unless you want to play with friends, fine. Fallout 4 is not as strong as 3 or New Vegas story-wise. 10 out of 10 will agree with that every day. But it's kind of my same thing with like Mercenaries 1 versus 2, or just because 3 versus 2. Yes, New Vegas is better than 4, but the mechanics are best in 4, and so I'd recommend everyone play Fallout 4. Same thing with like, I'd recommend everyone play Borderlands 3 over 2 for your first one getting into it, because the mechanics are better. The gameplay is better. And we're here to play a game. And so I recommend, I would say 4 is just a fine start, because the gameplay is technically best in that one. I mean, yeah, 76 is technically a bit better, but...
I mean, not by much.
Not enough to make that recommendation.
So, okay, question then. Would you say that the show is more representative of Fallout 4 or Fallout New Vegas?
Oh, New Vegas for sure.
Okay.
But
so could you imagine someone's disappointment? Okay.
No.
Because you are in the world, you are in the lore. Okay.
Because think about it. The vast majority of those people aren't going to finish the game. No matter what one they pick, they're not going to finish it. The vast majority aren't. The vast majority are going to do what most people do in a Bethesda game and fuck off as soon as they can and go do side quests. Walk around, build their guns, build their base, go, see all the factions, do all that. But the vast majority of them are going to stop at some point during the story and not finish it. And so therefore, because of that, Fallout 4 is my recommendation.
Now, here's a weird technicality. Fallout New Vegas isn't a Bethesda game.
Okay, yeah, but it plays like the same. It plays the same, and we all know that. Obsidian is a better, bit smaller Bethesda, and we all know that. I mean, that's...
Yeah, I hate that. Ooh, I hate that.
I love
because,
it.
boy, howdy. No,
actually, I do
the only reason I hate it is because Bethesda's supposed to be Obsidian, and Obsidian should be as big as Bethesda. I think that there's space for two.
Yes,
Two wolves in
Obsidian
the
should be
circus.
the indie Bethesda. Bethesda should be the better Obsidian.
Yeah. And Bethesda, I don't know what Bethesda has become. I think they've become walking simulators with guns now. I can't really tell. And Obsidian has become Obsidian.
They made Skyrim and panicked because they didn't know what else to do or go from there, and they're still panicking. I think it's what the Switch is going into right now. What Nintendo did with the Wii. They made the Wii and then panicked. They're like, we don't know what to do next. We made this phenomenon, and then they made the Switch, and now they're making, rumored, we don't officially know, a Switch 2, so just a more powerful Switch. I think they're in the same position of like, shit, how do we top this? We've made another phenomenon, what do we do?
Well, here's the thing. Obsidian hasn't had that. And they had New Vegas. They have a game that is a decade and some change old that people look to as a gold standard. And for those of us who don't know what Fallout New Vegas is, it's basically Baldur's Gate 3 before Baldur's Gate 3. Like, it blew everyone's mind as far as choice, as far as direction. You can literally do whatever you want. There are like 5-6 different endings, and there are like so many different ways to get to each and every one. My point is, like, they have met that standard and continue to do so. I mean, the Outer Worlds, everyone loved that.
Yeah. It was phenomenal.
And now they have Avowed coming out, and now Bethesda's just like sandwiches.
Yeah, they're like junk in space. Seriously. So I mean, we'll see where they go. Anyways, back to the Fallout show. So I thought the twist with what I really liked is how they went into. By the way, spoiler warning for everyone who has not seen the Fallout show. Leave now. Go watch it and then come back to hear our thoughts. So you have 3.
Like this video and comment before 2, you do, and also subscribe so you can see what we think about stuff.
1, get out of here. Okay, so I loved how they went and talked about Vault Tech and the corporate people before, and they were the ones to decide to drop the bombs. I was like, that's so cool that they're like, we're gonna rule the world, so we're actually gonna nuke it right now, ice ourselves, and then reawaken when it's time to take over. That's so cool. That, and then like throughout all the years they can make sure that they're in charge of the vaults still. Like, that is an awesome idea, and I am excited to see where they go from here with that.
I mean, they have nothing but opportunity to go from. I mean, because you got to remember, again, the vaults were never supposed to work. And then most of the vaults that like they actually made are just experiments. My favorite one is they told these people to get in this vault for like 100 years, but only gave them like 8 months worth of food.
Yeah. Like,
and just wanted to see what would happen.
Yeah.
And like everybody ate each other. It was crazy. Don't even get me started about the Gary vault. I mean, like it's just weird stuff.
There's just so much going on. It's really cool to see and really watch them explore that. And like the stuff they're doing with the Vault 31, 32, and 33 stuff, where how like 33 is this like perfect example of a working vault. 32 is just a hellhole. And
nobody knows.
31 is like really non-existent. And like, you know, like all the overseers for 33 are the execs from the world beforehand getting awakened, like, and then her brother is going off and going in places he shouldn't be at, and they definitely know he's snooping. They definitely know, and like
they know. They know.
He's not getting in a cryotube. No way they're just gonna have him fucking sleep. That's not happening. So I like, it's crazy. And then you have their cousin who's like bagging the other exec lady who also definitely knows what's going on, and she's not saying anything.
I mean, it's just, listen, again, the world of Fallout is so much more interesting than any of the games. In like a real bad way. Yeah, especially for like such a story-based game where you're constantly talking to people and like getting lore. Like the games you go way further. But see, that's the thing about the lore and like the way you unlock them is that a lot of it is just reading. Like you read a lot of the lore and you follow up on things, and you piece certain things together, and like characters tell you stuff based on things you already know, and it becomes like a weird kind of thing. But a lot of that's not gameplay. Like most of the dialogue options don't affect gameplay in the majority of Fallout games, period. But Yeah, no, my favorite thing about the show is that I could almost see like the game in it. Like I
Yeah.
want to say when like Lucy went to the town and like was talking to the ghoul and was just like it was like bargaining with him, and I was like, "Oh shit. Her she's smart, but her speech skill isn't all the way there."
Uh-huh.
So okay, and like I could like piece it all together, and like how they start off everything with the special. I was like, oh shit, okay, cool. That's what. Okay, so this is why that's like that. And okay, everything just kind of clicked as a Fallout fan. I was like, okay, I get it. I got you. I got you. I got you.
Yeah, like off rip, she was listing her like the stats that you said at the very beginning, the special stats. Like she was listing those off right away. I was like, that's such a cool way to start this, where it's like, you know, you can kind of already relate her to a character that you can make right off the rip. I mean, off rip, you can essentially make her in Fallout, like to a
pretty much, yeah,
skills wise. So that's
and that
pretty cool.
That's so cool. Such a cool detail. And then Maximus, about Maximus. Okay, I like the actor that plays Maximus. Yeah. Maximus as a character is very annoying, but also really cool because he just genuinely does not care.
No, and see that's like what bothers me the most about him is he's supposed to be this like likable wannabe hero character, but none of his actions do that.
But yeah, and I think you're supposed to like him because he's like, I mean, he's mysterious. I mean, we know what we know about him, like to start, and but just he's mysterious and he's interesting because obviously he's like he wants to be the good guy, but he has like the worst way of going about it. Like every time, every opportunity.
I think I would like him more if it was more comedical. Like he's trying his hardest to be a good guy, but then fucks up in the worst way on accident, and he's just kind of like, oh shit, and like he just happens to keep surviving, kind of thing. Like then I don't know, I feel like him more. But
that kind of, I mean, that kind of happened when like when he broke up that fight, and he was just like, hey, like you can't just beat him up, and then the dude ran away. So I was like, I'm sorry, he was just fucking my chicken, like it's like stuff like that. And he's like, wait, what?
No, I like that they had more scenes like that. If that was like his character, I would love it. It's just the like I'm righteous, you're not, and then in like I mean, within minutes of putting the suit on, is doing the same shit that he just killed that guy for, or like let him die, and lecture him on.
But you also gotta think like that's the Brotherhood of Steel, like period. That's what they do. It's their whole pitch is superiority.
Yeah, I do agree. I don't know. It was hard to like. It was hard to like him when he's not a likable character. That was
and that's valid. But that was also shout out to that actor. I forget his name.
Yeah, he was a good actor. He did a great job doing it.
He's incredible. Yeah, he has like a little head like Jonathan Majors, but he looks like Cuba Gooding Jr. But if you like block out like the top of his head, he looks like Denzel.
Yes, I would say he looks like a young Denzel Washington, like kind of.
He looks like so many actors. Like you just gotta like. If you block out certain pieces of his face, he looks like different actors. It's kind of scary.
How they did the flashbacks with the ghoul was phenomenal. They did that so well. How like they kept going back to his celebrity life, and he's the vault boy too. Like so cool. I wasn't expecting that.
Don't even get me started. Listen, when he rolls out the ground and killed 3 people on principle, I was like, I'm gonna like him. Or like when he got shot with the dart gun, he was just like, that is a small drop in a big old bucket of drugs.
Yeah, that was
like,
so
it's
good.
Like, okay, I like him. I like this guy. He's the one who just has accepted like, if I'm gonna live forever, I'm gonna live. God damn it! Like, he's just doing shit.
Like no one can stop me. I'm gonna just do my thing. I love it.
Do what I want to do.
We got teased that he's looking for his family, which I guarantee you, his wife's alive. She's in a fucking tube. I guarantee it. If not running.
Okay. So here's the thing. I would wager that we're probably gonna run into the synths at some point. Might be the next season. Might be something else.
We will, because they are teasing New Vegas for this next season. That was that last shot. So yeah.
Right. So I mean, like. we're gonna see some sense, and like that's gonna open up a whole other can of worms. Don't even get me started on if we have sense, then that means we have the Institute, which means Fallout 4 is either already happened or is already happening. So I wonder if we're gonna have like two Vault Dwellers meet, kind of like Van Buren. I'm always gonna bring up Van Buren every time we talk about Fallout. Doesn't matter.
Well, we definitely will. I think in the next season, just from New Vegas. I mean, there's Vault Dwellers and vaults in New Vegas. So I mean, I would imagine.
Oh yeah,
we will.
Yeah, there are Vault Dwellers in the game,
we'll probably run into someone. I mean, even if it's a quick cameo of like someone that's from the same vault or like one of the vaults in that game, or just some returning character or something. Like I'm sure we're gonna see, because this first season, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure most of the references were to Fallout 1 that weren't general ones, because Fallout 1 took place in Southern California. And so I think this next one will have a lot of references to New Vegas, and then after that, I mean, I don't know if we'll ever fully get to, I don't know, because here's why I struggle with thinking of that we'll get to synths, is synths and the Institute are in Boston, and we're in Hollywood right now, like on the other complete side of the United States, so I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll have to see.
Watch this. Are you ready? Watch this. Maybe, just maybe, the Institute has like other institutes, like maybe they have like certain offshoots and certain representatives, like because like the Institute was essentially a university at first, and then there are other universities just across the country. So I would imagine if there are people, there are probably synths. And also the reason the Institute even exists, which is just to gather information, just so they can control the world by having these fake people like run around and do whatever and report back to them. It would benefit them and behoove them to have like 4, 5, 6 of them motherfuckers. Like, why not?
No, that makes sense. You gotta have eyes and ears everywhere if you want to gain knowledge. Makes sense. Well,
I one in the Brotherhood of Steel, but yes, I'm sorry. That was my tangent.
You're good. With that, I don't have anything else to say about Fallout or video game adaptations at all. Do you, before we sign off? Any final thoughts?
No. We've said everything. We've talked for a while, and we could honestly do a whole podcast just about Fallout. You want to do a podcast about Fallout?
I'm about it. I love Fallout. I absolutely love Fallout. Cool.
Why not? Sure. And then I'm sure more news is coming. But in the interim, we love you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to us ramble for about an hour. We appreciate that so much, more than you can actually understand. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what we should talk about next if it isn't Fallout, because we might end up talking about Fallout. AJ, you got anything else you want to add?
As always, guys, awesome talking to you. Love every single one of you. It's amazing to those of you who do tune in every week. Thank you. Make sure you share our content with everyone you know and love. With that being said, as always, guys, stay mediocre.